Hello my friends, Virus here. Pokemon Day 2025 has come and gone, and with it came the full reveal for Pokemon Legends ZA. And by golly, do I have some mixed opinions on it. Some good, some bad, some mostly good, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. So without wasting any more time, let's dive into the good and bad of Pokemon Legends ZA. And we're going to start off with the good because I don't want to just start this video off with me kind of complaining, or seemingly coming off as me complaining about the game. So we're going to start with the good and work our way to the bad. So starting off the good, we have the scope of Lumiose City. It looks and feels huge. I already thought that it was impressive to see Lumiose on the 3DS as this massive central city that holds the Kalos region together, but this time around I think we'll admire and appreciate the scope of this place even more thanks to it being shown to us in an open world format. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Lumiose feels as a massive bustling city. Next up is the characters. I've always been of the opinion that the playable characters in Scarlet and Violet were just a little too generic for my taste, and they didn't really resonate with me in the same way that the protagonists in previous games had. But I can say with confidence that I like their designs much more than Scarlet and Violet's playable characters. Next up is the starters, and I apologize if I'm kind of like flying through these a little bit too fast. This list is actually not as long as I thought it would be. But next up is the starters. This starter trio is so close to being, in my opinion, the perfect starter trio for this game. However, I still love all three of these Pokemon for one reason or another, and I really would probably choose any one of them for a playthrough. And with loving all three starter options, it just means this game will have a lot of replayability for me. I would like to go more in-depth with my perfect starter trio in a future video, so if you would like to see that, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Next up is Mega Evolution. I always had the feeling that Mega Evolution would creep its way back into the Pokemon series one way or another just due to how wildly popular it was. It was easily Pokemon's best battle gimmick, and since then Pokemon has been trying to recreate that magical feeling through other battle gimmicks such as Z-moves, Dynamax, Terastallization, so on and so forth. And while those battle gimmicks are still good, I feel they don't come close to Mega Evolution in terms of popularity. And a lot of my favorite Pokemon actually get Megas as well. Aggron, Sceptile, Mega Charizard Y specifically, Blaziken, Venusaur, Absol, and so on. I'm very excited to see Mega Evolution return to the Pokemon series, especially if they throw some new Megas in the mix. Please, Game Freak, give us a Mega Flygon, please, I'm begging you. Next up is the look of the Pokemon, and this is how I wish they looked in Scarlet and Violet. But instead, they had this weird textured look to most of them, and it just seems so off-putting to me. It felt like they were forcing a new art style onto the Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and it just didn't sit well with me. But in Legends ZA, it looks like they're somewhat reverting back to what Pokemon used to look like, and I am very much a fan of this change. I think they look so much better like this, and I hope this stays the norm moving forward. Next up is the new battle mechanics. I love the new movement during battles. It feels so much more immersive if you're the one that determines if your Pokemon dodges or not. I feel like it'll add a new layer of skill to battling, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing more about this. Really, that's all I had to add for this section. Just like I'm really a big fan of this new battle system, and I'm really excited to see like how it actually plays when you have it in your hands. And now it is time to move on to the bad. And the only bad I have listed for this is the textures still look just as bad as ever. I love the scope of Lumiose City, but when you take a closer look at the environments, they're still using the same kind of sloppy and blurry textures we saw in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think it's great that we're getting another big open world, but if it's muddied by these blurry textures, it just isn't as enjoyable. I've always been of the opinion that graphics aren't everything, but I still believe they play a part in your overall experience of the game. And seeing these blurry and rough textures greatly disappointed me. After all, it had been one full year since we had seen or heard anything about Pokemon Legends ZA. And to me and many others, it felt like the Pokemon Company was taking their time to ensure that this was the best looking Pokemon game they could possibly make for Switch. So to see it in this current state was very disappointing. I was hoping for smooth environments with crisp and sharp textures that put Scarlet and Violet to shame. But most of the buildings once again look pretty rough around the edges. Now this could very well be fixed by launch. It's possible that they do some polishing up before launch, and if that happens, I'll take back what I said. And I don't mean to come off as overly negative, but I was expecting something more considering it had been a whole year since we'd seen anything on Legends ZA. And that's really the only negative I can think of. Everything else looks great in my opinion. But what do you think of Pokemon Legends ZA? Let me know down in the comments. I do plan on making a recap video of everything that we saw during Pokemon Day this year. I'm not sure if that'll come out this week or next week, only time will tell of course. But I do plan on making a couple more videos on what we saw during Pokemon Day this year. This of course being one of them, and I do have a couple more videos planned for Pokemon Legends ZA itself. But for now, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new and hit that bell so you never miss any Virus content, or my next Pokemon video, who knows, might be coming a bit sooner than you think. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Virus out.